Okay, so it's probably quite rare to see someone do a review in a car while driving back from a theater. But I started seeing Godzilla on Friday, and it's currently Saturday where I'm at. So it follows a lot of the same vein as the last one that was done by Legendary. I'm not going to have internal lights on, so you probably just get a lot of the random street lights, or lack of street lights, I should say. Where you're going to see a lot more of the humans than you see of the monsters. If I have one real big complaint, they mention a ton of monsters in this. They do a scene where they're kind of scrolling through different, I'll just go different bioacoustics, and they run past so many names of other monsters, and I was like, sweet, we're gonna see all of these, and you don't. The human story, it's a pretty decent human story that I'll say. I do think that one of the redemption arcs that they try to go for, they might have thought actually probably worked better on paper than it did in the actual realization of it. So the human characters are actually pretty good. Ken Watanabe, again, just absolutely fantastic with the little bit of work that he's given in this. Does a great job. Definitely delivers some of the more poignant lines during the film, which is, of course, what you expect. That's what he's there for. So Monarch, which of course also existed in the King Kong franchise, or the most Skull Island, I should say, is back. So this one again ties in King Kong as well as the last Godzilla film, which was nice. They did a good job discussing the other creatures. I really loved what they did with Ghidorah. So you might realize that where I live, there's not that many streetlights. I really love what they did with Ghidorah. I thought they did a great job on the effects for that. And it's one of the creatures you see the most of, but it's one of the more iconic characters. Good job with Rodan. Loved what they did with Mothra. I like how for both Godzilla and Mothra, they did work in some of the older Toho thematics for it, which I thought was really good. There is the right amount of homages to previous Toho battles that have dealt with, those four principal characters. Overall, I liked it. Again, I will say I would have loved for more creatures to be shown. I do think they showed, for the ones they really focused on, they did a good job with. I enjoyed it, but then again, I enjoyed the last one too. I still think that, with this, more monsters makes a giant monster film better. So if you're expecting this to be closer to like a Pacific Rim, where it's just going to be giant monster and robot battles or giant monster battles, it's not as much. There's a lot more of the human element, like I said, from the previous Godzilla film, which I'm okay with. If you want to develop more of the human characters, and that way then when they're trying to escape the near unescapable death traps they constantly find themselves in, I mean, I'm fine with that. Overall, dug it. I did see it in 3D because it's giant monsters fighting. It's something that you should see in 3D if you want to see it in its most most impactful state. So, I'm a fan of the Godzilla franchises. Again, I would have. Now there's a car behind me. That's why I see more lights. Now I do wish that they would have done a little bit more with the monsters, but overall, I think it was a very good follow-up to the previous two films in the exact same franchise. I guess we'll call it the Monarch universe, for lack of better terminology. And you know what? It did very well. I liked what it did. That did well. And you know what? If they decide to do another one, I would very much be impressed with that. I think that they did the right amount with characters they used. Again, I wish they would have focused on some more. I'll turn into your line. I wish we would have focused some more on some of the other characters that they mentioned during the bioacoustic sequence. But overall, you know what? For building up what they did in the previous one, this one worked very well. Again, more monsters would have been better, but from what we got a lot of really good fights.